Hello, and thank you for watching my video. Today is going to be a little bit of a summary video, sort of a guide talking about some things that have been released to do with Heart of Thorns that I finally wanted to give my feedback on. And as you can see here in the background, we have the tweet that was put out by ArenaNet. This is actually just before their 3rd year anniversary, particularly for those of you who actually had the head start at launch. They had a 3-day head start. So for them, I think it's the 25th of August will be the 3-year anniversary, so they'll be getting birthday presents. That actually happens for the rest of us on the 28th. So, let's talk about the specializations, in particularly the Elite Specializations. So what we're going to go and have a look at, here we go, these are the specializations, and particularly the Elite Specializations that are going to come out with Heart of Thorns. I want to point out that the Thief currently, as we know it, hasn't actually been given a name. It has been data mined that it is likely to be the Daredevil, so obviously if you're watching this a few days, few weeks, months later, you will all know what it is. Also the Engineer, we don't know that they're getting. We know they're getting a hammer. We pretty much don't know what it's called. We believe it's called the Forge. I also find it interesting that the two that they showed in the Heart of Thorns trailer, the Engineer with their hammer and the little drones flying around, and the Druid being the Ranger, they're saving them till last. Very interesting in my opinion. Also, all the medium armor classes have actually ended up being last. So let's talk our way through. I'm going to go and talk about all these specializations. I'm going to go individually and do videos of them in a future video series. But I wanted to talk to you and get your guys' opinions and thoughts on this. The Reaper. We're going to go one by one. Let's talk about the Reaper, which is the Necromancer Elite Specialization. You're going to get Great Sword, and the Death Shroud's going to be replaced by Reaper Shroud. I think it's been pretty cool. I like the Great Sword. I think the skills are a little bit too slow. You get shouts, which are pretty handy, and generally it's a decent specialization. The Reaper's a cool name. I think the Great Sword's a really good addition, and I think the changes to Death Shroud to become Reaper Shroud are pretty cool. I just think that they need to tweak some of the skills. I think they need to make them a little bit faster or a little bit more powerful, because they are pretty difficult to land some of these slow, huge swings. If they're like a 1 1/4 seconds cast time to hit that Gravedigger, it's a long swing and it's easy to dodge. But Necromancer as the Reaper is pretty good. I like Reaper. I think it's a nice elite specialization. They've done well with there. Chronomancer. Really cool play. I like the shield. I like the continuum split, which is the new F5 skill. A really, really cool mechanic. Really well designed. I think the Chronomancer, you know, it was originally actually stated to come out when Guild Wars 2, prior to its being released, when they'd actually finished Nightfall, Guild Wars 1 Nightfall, which was the 3rd campaign. They were going to bring in a 4th campaign, which was called Utopia, and they were going to have the Chronomancer. However, they decided to change that, and they decided, look, it was too bloated, Guild Wars 1, and they were going to create Guild Wars 2. And when they did that, they said, okay, well, look, we'll have a small expansion. That's what became Eye of the North, and the Chronomancer was put on the back burner, and it's finally come out. And with the Mesmer having it, it is really cool. I like the wells. The wells need a little bit of tweaking, but really are really cool to have. Gravity Wells are cool animation sort of that they have for Gravity Well, and the traits as well are handy to have. A little bit of tweaking now and then, but generally, I mean, Tides of Time is a really nice shield, and Echo of Memory, Deja Vu. The Chronomancer, in my opinion, is probably the best elite specialization. I think it's so cool. The F5 skill is amazing for different mechanical gameplay. It's really going to be handy for those really elite players. Then we get Tempest, pretty much the most lackluster elite specialization. And the reason being that Elementalist, you know, as someone who plays Elementalist a lot, you know, in Fractals, you might have seen a lot of my videos are on Elementalist. The Elementalist is a good profession right now. It is well balanced, it is a damage dealer, it is a Condi spec, it is a tanky spec, and the Elementalist is very well rounded. the Tempest Elite Specialization doesn't really add anything to the Elementalist. In my opinion, it's something that's different, but something that's really not necessary. I don't see myself going into Tempest to run any of these skills. I don't see the point. And I think they need to boost some of these skills. I think if they want to make it a play. But the problem is, I think if they boost Tempest too much, then they're going to have to take something away from the rest of the Elementalist. But it is interesting the way they've designed Tempest. I think it's one of those elites that really won't see too much gameplay unless they make some changes. But overall, I think, if one elite specialization is going to be underpowered, I don't mind that it's Elementalist because, as an Elementalist, we really don't have too much to complain about. Now, this is a page on the Druid. This is the Ranger. We know that the Rangers are going to get Staff, but we don't know much else about it. And so, obviously, we'll know this in a few weeks' time, more about the Druid. And Druids can wield Staff and have more plant-based attacks. So that's all I can talk about right now because it's not come out. Obviously, when Druid comes out, I'll make another video talking about that. Dragon Hunter. I've never had seen a more worse reaction to a name than when this came out. I have to say it has been growing on me, and that's primarily because I've played the Dragon Hunter, and I actually like the Dragon Hunter as a game style. I actually like the gameplay of Dragon Hunter with longbow and traps, particularly. But, I still think the name, it shouldn't be that, but generally it's very good gameplay. I actually enjoy playing the Dragon Hunter with the longbow and the traps. I think it's a really nice, well-designed elite specialization. The longbow, they need to change some of the professional mechanics. I don't like Winds of Resolve, and because I'm generally used to having the F2 skill on one of my traits being a nice heal, and also Shield of Courage being a block. So I think they could tweak some of the professional mechanics, the virtues. But overall, I think some of the longbow skills, if they just slightly tweak it, it'll be good. But I think the traps are in a good place. I think Dragon's Maw is a really cool animation. I enjoy playing Dragon Hunter in the betas. So I will look forward to playing Dragon Hunter. I've already got some longbows equipped for my Guardians, ready to play Dragon Hunter. Herald, which is to do with the Revenant. Now, obviously, Revenant is a brand new profession anyway, so it's not going to impact as much. But again, I think this is a really cool mechanic, a really cool specialization for the Revenant, being able to wield shields and invoke the power of Glint. There are some interesting facets, the facet of light, the facet of darkness, elements. I think it's a very cool specialization, and I think we're going to look forward to actually playing this in Heart of Thorns. Maybe we'll get a chance in some of the betas, but I think the way Revenant is going, I think this is going to be a nice tanky build for those of you who enjoy getting involved in that the heat of the battle. I think this will be fun playing the Herald. Berserker, one of the new ones we found. Berserker for Warriors. It's an amazing elite specialization. The fact that they've changed, if when you go Berserk, that they change all the weapon skills no matter what you have. Oh, this is going to be epic. And the fact that they give utility skills a new rage skill. Oh, it really is a phenomenal specialization. I think Warriors, this is going to be a cool actual element to go into. And I have to say, I think the Torch may be a little bit lackluster, but I think it more than makes up with the Berserk mode. I think the Berserk mode is really, really cool, and I am looking forward to playing like rifle, longbow, hammer, greatsword, all of these like Berserk skills that we're going to get. It's going to be awesome. So really fun elite specialization that Arena have come up with, the Berserker. So that's it. That is the list of specializations. We've gone through them all. I really am looking forward to them. I think that the Thief that is going to get Staff, and they are likely to be called the Daredevil, and I think that's going to be really fun to have. I can imagine what type of gameplay they're going to have, but generally, now we've had most of the elite specializations revealed, I think that the developers have been taking a lot more time and looking at different ways to change mechanics and offer a different style of gameplay for each profession. And generally, I think it's in a good place. I think Elite Specializations have been done very, very well, and it does make me a little bit more confident about the Heart of Thorns expansion. So for those of you, just to sum up, for those of you who are unaware, you need to purchase Guild Wars 2 Heart of Thorns to actually gain access to these Elite Specializations. Currently, as you can see here, you actually have 3 specializations. You will only have 1 allowed as your Elite Specialization, because obviously as time goes on, more Elite Specializations will be incorporated into the game. If I can get my words out. And this is going to be really, really fun to play. And generally, I think it's going to be worthwhile getting some of this. So I would like to get your guys' feedback. For those of you who have played the betas, please let me know on some of the professions, some of the specializations you like the look of. For those of you who have watched the videos by ArenaNet, do you think that they're actually you're actually excited about some of the Elite Specializations that we haven't had the chance to play, like the Herald, like the Druid we hopefully will see, and the Tempest. Well, we actually got the chance to play the Tempest, but some of the other specializations that we're likely to see in Heart of Thorns. Hey, is this bit making you more excited for Heart of Thorns now that you've had a chance to see the majority of the specializations? Or do you think that this really, they're focusing on the wrong thing? And do you think that, it's something that isn't too relevant and something that you haven't really asked for in regards to the core mechanics of the game? It'd be great to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave a comment underneath, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching.